I am very excited today because today is the day when you have decided to take the bull by the horns and improve your English. As you know, my name is Andrea and I help fix your English. In this video, I'm going to be giving you all of the tips and tricks that I have learned in all the many years of fixing people's English to help you in your quest. So, what are we going to do today? Today I'm going to be giving you different ways to improve English, but in 4 different ways. As you know, English is not just speaking. It's speaking, listening, reading, and writing. And depending on how you want to improve your English, I'll be giving you lots of different ways to improve these skills. You are an individual, and what might work for one person might not work for you. So in this video, I'm going to give you as much information as possible, and then together we can decide on what is the best way for you to improve your level of English right now. If you're ready, let's begin. I know you're excited. But before we start downloading applications, buying books, and deciding on which relative who lives in England we can talk to and maybe improve our English, let's have a plan. I want you to ask yourself just three questions. The first is, what level of English do you have right now? For some people, this is quite easy. They've taken an exam, they know that they are this level or that level. For others, it's a little bit tricky. So I want you to ask yourself, what is it that you can do right now? Who is it that you can communicate with? To what level? What things are you able to do and what things are you not able to do? That should give you a little bit of a framework to work from. The second question is, what do you want to be able to achieve? Lots of people say, I want to be able to speak fluently, but this is a very big goal that's not achievable. Why? Because even I cannot speak to everyone at every time about everything. There are certain topics that I don't have an idea about. If you want to have a very advanced conversation about the planets, I'm not the right person to speak to about that. So I want you to concentrate on what is it that you want to be able to do. Are there certain people that you would like to speak to? What about your hobbies, your interests? You decide what it is that you are lacking. What is it that you want to be able to talk about? What is it that you don't have confidence in right now? I would like you to have an English level that is similar to your first language. When you're speaking in your first language, when you're communicating, you are able to talk about everything that is in your environment. I would like the same for you in your second or third language, English. Do you want to pass an exam? Maybe that's not important for you. Do you want to read a certain level of literature in English? Would you like to be able to understand articles? What is it that you want to be able to do that you can't do right now? Do you want to be able to write? What level do you want to be able to write? What do you want to be able to write about? Underneath this video, you will find a very simple plan that says reading, writing, listening, and speaking, and then what you're able to do right now, what you're not able to do, and what you would like to do. And you fill it in to the best of your ability, because this extra thinking is really going to help you to improve your English this year. The third question is very important as well. How much time do you have to dedicate to your English? Now, some people get very excited at the beginning and they think that they can do hours and hours every single day. Maybe you can, but we want it to be manageable. Again, we want it to be something that you can do every single day, or at least multiple times a week, and for a specific amount of time. Maybe you can do 10 minutes a day every single day. Wonderful. Maybe you can do half an hour every 2 days. Again, this is about you. Think about yourself and the situation that you're in. Are you able to dedicate some time to English? How much time? I want you to try to find some time in your day for English. What do I mean by that? Normally, in our day-to-day lives, we have a little extra time if we squeeze it in. Maybe on your commute, when you're going to or from work or school, you can listen to some podcasts. Maybe you can read something on the bus. Maybe when you're cleaning, you'll be able to listen to something, watch something, read something. Everyone has some spare minutes. I want yours to count. Once we have that information, we have your plan. This is the most exciting part. What is it that you would like to achieve? Some people might say, I would like to write emails for work without having to look at a translator. Some people might say, I would like to read 4 books in English. I would like to have a conversation about my interests with other people in English. You are an individual and you have a specific reason for learning English that might be different from other people. So concentrate on it. Think about it. One little extra is English, as I mentioned before, is built up from 4 different elements: reading, writing, listening, and speaking. Why do I mention that so much? Well, because if you increase your level in each of these, it automatically increases the level of the others. What do I mean? If you start writing, it might seem as though it's a waste of time, but as you're writing, you're concentrating on grammatical structures. You have time to look at new vocabulary. Wonderful. When you are speaking, you have time to express yourself in a quicker way, and you might be able to talk about things that are very important to you, and it's fun. When you are listening, you have time to concentrate on vocabulary, concentrate on the rhythm of English, and have fun. When you are reading, you are able to pick up grammatical structures. You're able to understand vocabulary better. So, if we think about them as building blocks, every time we increase one skill, the others automatically increase. So I suggest having a mixture of all 4 in your plan. Maybe you don't need to write emails for work, but you might be able to write a kind of a diary, and in there you will increase your vocabulary that you've learned that day. But this is just an extra. Let's now look at the different methods that we can increase our skills. First of all, let's talk about listening practice. Listening is a wonderful, wonderful skill to practice in English because we can do it a lot. We don't need to physically be in a room where people are speaking English. We can find lots of listening practice online for free. Podcasts, we have YouTube videos, we have television programs. We can listen lots when we wake up, when we're getting ready, in our commutes, when we're going from place to place, when we get home, when it's a hobby, when we're cooking our food, listening to the radio, when we are cleaning, when we are going to sleep. Listening is something you can put in your life very, very easily. But the one thing that you need to do is prepare to have things ready for you to listen to. I want you to find a free application that allows you to listen to podcasts. Download that application and then find something that you love to listen to. There are many different podcasts specifically to do with English, learning English. Those are fine. Sometimes they give you some grammar, sometimes vocabulary. I want you to listen to them and have fun listening to them. Maybe you want to learn a specific kind of accent. Maybe you want to download something from the BBC. Maybe you want to download something from the National Public Radio, which is an American accent. Maybe you want something from Australia or South Africa or Canada. The world is your oyster, because when you have this application, you can download everything for free. And I would suggest you listen to it for a few minutes and think, do I like this person that's talking? Am I learning something with them? Yes? Great. No? Well, I'll find someone else. There's also this sweet spot. I want you to be able to understand at least 80% of what you're listening to. 20% should be difficult words, maybe a strange accent, maybe it's more advanced than you're used to. This means that you're always learning. Why? If you listen to something that's too hard, you're going to be focusing too much on learning. If you listen to something that's too easy, you're not learning anything. And so there's no improvement that way. Find things that you like listening to, either a general English podcast or my podcast that I'm starting to put new episodes on, something that is national, for example, the BBC or National Public Radio, something about your hobbies, something about work. You are an individual. You find something that you enjoy. This has lots of positives, but it does have negatives. One of the negatives is that you can't see what they're saying. It's all auditory, it's all listening. So you're not going to be able to see the subtitles. You're not going to be able to see context of where they are. This is good for pure listening, understanding from just listening. It increases your English skill a lot. And there are podcasts that have transcripts. Transcripts is a special word for the script, for the writing of everything that they say. This is also very, very good. If you have time, download the transcript, read it through for words that you didn't understand. But otherwise, you listen. You keep listening. Why? Because you will learn lots just by listening. The sound of the English, the sound of the grammar, the type of things that they talk about, the vocabulary, it all goes into your ear, to your brain, and then you're able to use it yourself. So don't ever think that you're not doing enough just listening passively. It's very, very good, and I want you to start doing it as soon as you can. Another thing that is very similar is YouTube. Again, YouTube has so many topics. I won't be able to mention them all, but there's lots on learning English, like my own channel. There's also ones that are about hobbies or about things that are important to you. Find them, look for them, listen to them. The good thing about this is that there's also contextual clues, which means that they will show you where they are. You'll be able to see the things that they're talking about. And a lot of them have subtitles. Now, these subtitles are a little hit and miss. Some of them are very good subtitles that give you exactly what that person is saying. Some of them aren't very good. So again, you just have to keep trying, listening to things, watching things. The more time that you put into English every day, the easier it will get and the more you will advance. Let's look at writing. Writing is so overlooked, but it is incredibly important and also fun. It's important for vocabulary, for grammar, and also for clarity. What do I mean? Well, if you're writing something, you normally have time to think. And then you start planning and deciding. And then if you don't remember a word, you check it up. And then you have time to slow down and think, what is it that this sentence actually has? What am I actually saying? It's very, very good. There are 3 methods I want you to try. The first is to write a diary. What is a diary? Every day you write something about what happened in your day. Why do I suggest this? Because this is the vocabulary you will actually be using. What are you talking about in that day? What are you doing? Which words do you need to be able to express yourself? Now, this diary can be physical, writing by hand. That sometimes takes a lot of time. You can also do it on your phone. You can type it, whichever way, as long as you're thinking and writing. Now, then it becomes a little fun. You can write a blog. You write about what you want to. There's lots of different websites that let you start free blogs. And you start writing every single day something about yourself, something that you want to express to the world. Now, again, you don't have to make it about yourself necessarily. You don't have to make it anything that would be against your privacy. You can write about how you have a dog when you don't have one. You can write about going to university when you don't go there. Or you can mention that you're in a different city. You have fun with this. You use your imagination. And the more that you write, the easier it will become and the more fun. Another is forums and groups. You have lots of interests and lots of hobbies. There are millions of forums dedicated to something that you enjoy. If you like cooking, if you like taking photos, if you like walking, interior design, fashion, playing chess, there are so many forums. Find a website that's dedicated to that has a forum, make a username for free, and start posting there, asking questions, answering people, It's very, very fun, and you'll also make friends that way and express yourself. The beauty about this as well is that these forums normally have native speakers in them. So you will learn new vocabulary, you will see grammar that they use. It will be very natural for you. The third is to actually write emails or letters. Find people that you want to write to, company, places, and people, and you start writing letters, emails. Completely free and fun as well. You can talk about a product that you love. You can write to the president. You can find lots of places, and it's free to do. What are the positives about this? One is that it's flexible. You can write whatever you like, when you like, to whoever you like. It's practical because you get to learn something, or you get to communicate about something that you enjoy. It's also very creative. You get to explore your interest in English, and it's not something that puts pressure on you because you have lots of time to think about this. What are the negatives? One negative is that it's time consuming. It takes longer to write a good email. It takes longer to write paragraphs about what you've done that day. The second is there's no feedback. You write it and then you don't know whether what you've written is correct or not. But if you're in a forum and someone answers you back and it shows that they understood what you meant, well, I think that's very, very good. The more you write, the better you will get. Reading. Okay. Reading is so wonderful. There is so much to read in English. So much that is both in English as its first language and or translated to English from another language. Find something that you enjoy. News, fashion, celebrities, literature, hobbies, so much. This is great for learning vocabulary and grammar in context. I always offer graded readers to my students. Something that's about their level, that they'll enjoy. They learn about the story, they learn a few new words, some grammatical structures, they get to answer questions. It's very, very fun. You can also read blogs, read articles, even read subtitles when you're watching films. All of this is reading. And it's very, very good because you can internalize what you are looking at. And that's wonderful. There's many positives. One is that there's such a variety of reading material out there. And so much for free. You will find lots and lots of things to read. The other is that it improves everything. It improves your grammar, your vocabulary, your understanding, your ability to scan things and skim things. It's very, very good. The negative is that there's so much that it might feel difficult to find something to start with, and that it can start to feel slow at the beginning. Because if you're reading about something that you don't have the vocabulary for in that moment, it might seem like you're stopping every 5 seconds to look up a new word. There's ways that we can overcome that. The first is just like with the listening. You find something that you can understand about 80% of. So that means that only 20% is something new, something that you're looking up. It's much easier that way to get fluency and comprehension. There's many different applications, and also the Kindle, that translate that word into your own language very quickly. And that means that you don't have to physically go to a dictionary and check up that particular word. I would also suggest that you read for understanding, but not necessarily having to stop every few words. Also, the words that you're learning, decide if it's a word that you're going to actually use in conversation with someone, or whether it's something that is in your passive vocabulary. We all have an active vocabulary and a passive vocabulary. What does that mean? Your active vocabulary is the words that you use when you're talking or when you're writing. It's there at the tip of your tongue. When you are talking, you use those words. We have a decent active vocabulary. What we have more of is that passive vocabulary. There's lots of words that when we're reading or listening to, we understand what they mean, but maybe it's not something that you would say in normal conversation. When we're using our listening or our reading skills, we are trying to grow our passive vocabulary. When we're using our writing and our speaking skills, we're trying to get that passive vocabulary and turn it into active vocabulary. So that's also something important to understand. We don't use all of the words in our passive vocabulary all the time, but those words that are important to you will naturally go into your active vocabulary. Now speaking. Speaking is a skill that most people want to improve, but it's also the scariest. Why? Because you have to have the confidence to start speaking to another living human being. There are many different speaking apps, and there are different groups that you can join, and all of them sound wonderful. There are language exchanges. Language exchanges mean that someone is wanting to learn your language and you are wanting to learn their language. This sounds good in theory, but it has many downsides. Let me explain. The first is that maybe someone isn't interested in learning your language. This could happen because there's lots of people that are learning your language, or because it's a rarity, it's not very common. This happens a lot. Therefore, not many people are going to want to reach out to you and learn your language from you. The other is that it's very difficult to find a good quality exchange. Why? Many people use these applications for different reasons. Maybe they're not actually looking for a language exchange, but they're actually looking for a relationship. It can be difficult to wade through all of these different people and find someone that's of quality. And then you need to find someone that has the same kind of level as you and that speaks that language well. So it's not to say that they aren't very useful, but that you need to take them with care and also have a plan of what you want to speak about, to whom, what time. You have to think about exactly who you want to speak to and for what reason. Having said that, many people have relationships, lots of friends that they've met, friendships that they've gained. It can be a very good option. Speaking is something that improves your English quickly because you have to listen to something and then respond. I would suggest that you try to do it in small amounts and with someone that you feel comfortable with. You can also send audio messages, which mean that you have time to think about your message, maybe delete it, send it again, and then listen to someone that maybe is difficult the first time, but after you've listened a few times, your listening skill increases and then you're able to answer back very well. What I would suggest for everyone is a kind of immersion. What I mean by that is that in your home, you make it as English as possible. Not by putting British flags everywhere, but by listening to as much English as you can, reading as much English as you can, writing as much English as you can, and speaking as much English as you can. There's simple things like changing the language on your phone. The more that you have English in your life, even if you're living in the same country that you were born, will increase your language exponentially. If you want to improve your speaking, listening, reading, and writing skills, the best way, if you can afford it, is to have lessons with a qualified teacher. The best kind of tutors are those that see what you actually need to improve on. They check your reading, listening, writing, and speaking skills. And every time that you have a lesson, they improve you and they make you feel comfortable and confident. And they give you things to do in your own time, homework or reading exercises, and you improve every single week. If you're able to afford that, that is the best way possible. And if you are interested in having lessons with me, contact me and I'll be very happy to give you all of the information. So that's it. What I would like you to do is, first of all, make your plan. What is it that you want to improve exactly and in which skill? Secondly, choose things that you are able to do every single day. How much time do you have every day to improve your English? And then what can you do during that time? Is it that you can listen to podcasts while you're cleaning your teeth in the morning? Is it that in work you can write English emails? Is it that you can enjoy watching films in English? Is it that you are able to join forums and talk to people that have the same interests as you? So which method is best? It all depends on you and your needs. Applications, podcasts, reading, writing, speaking, all of them improve different skills. So, to summarize, writing improves grammar and clarity. Listening boosts comprehension and pronunciation. Reading builds vocabulary and grammar. Speaking gives you fluency and confidence. Start with what feels most natural, but mix methods for the best results. And let me know in the comments, what's your goal for learning English this month? What method will you try first? Remember, stay consistent. Enjoy the process, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more tips.